I'm going to say Lambo, 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 Lambo every single day. And all of a sudden, poof, it's not going to just end up in your driveway. It's not
No.
that's the disconnect that I think most people have is they think, oh, okay, well, I'll create a vision board and all of a sudden it's going to poof,
Yeah.
magically pop into my driveway. Well, that's not how it works.
Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Online Entrepreneur Experience. As always, I'm Deuces. We've got a new guest today. Look at this guy. What's happening?
John, I'm doing good, man. Just chilling. Happy to be here with you.
Right on.
I'm John Olson, aka Cheers, baby.
Yeah, that is the one and only John Olson. He is the other half of our online entrepreneur experience for our YouTube channel here. And quite honestly, he's probably the most knowledgeable person I know when it comes to law of attraction. I ask him questions all the time to help me with my own mental state and changing my paradigm and all of that stuff. But we've got a good one for you here today, guys. John, what are we going over today?
We're going to be going over a little bit of manifestation and the law of attraction, which is, like you said earlier, it's a really big platform. So we're just going to break it down. Baby steps at first, and then we'll go into a little bit deeper stuff. But absolutely, man.
I love it, man. So let's start off with the basics. Just give us the shortened, more condensed version of what exactly is manifestation.
Manifestation is just as simple as holding a thought and taking small actions in the direction of that thought. So say you want to make, I'll go small, $1,000 in a month. If you want to manifest that, you have to hold that and hold yourself accountable to take the action to actually do that. But you have to have complete faith in what you're doing and what you're trying to manifest.
I think that's pretty good for now because essentially it just gives us the basics. You have a plan, you want to achieve something, a goal, or just have something come to you. And it's just about making sure your thoughts are aligned, right? So can you explain to me how it is we go about our daily lives and we're always manifesting, even though we don't even know we are?
That's the biggest secret in the world is people don't know that they're actually manifesting anything to them. Like if you're constantly thinking about a flat tire, 99.9% of the time, you might get a flat tire. And most people will be like, that's BS because I'm not manifesting bad things into my life. But if you're constantly thinking about it, I'll go into like The Secret. If you haven't seen the movie, I would highly recommend going to Barnes and Noble or your Amazon store and buying The Secret. And no, they're not paying me to say that. But it explains it so like vividly. Like say you wake up and you stub your toe out of bed. How's your day gonna go?
Oh, it's going to be brutal all day. Red lights all the way to work.
Yeah. And you know that, and people don't realize that. It's so simple. But when you start actually, when you're aware of it, that's when the manifestation becomes awesome because you can actually start transitioning yourself and manifesting things that you actually want versus just living day to day BS like most people do. They think things are happening to them. They don't think that we're attracting what we're actually doing in our lives. Like today, we had a plan to do this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we manifested that. Whether you want to call it manifestation or a plan. Well, when you're actually focusing on something, it's going to come to you regardless of anything in the world. So what you focus on is what actually comes into your life.
So where your focus goes, your energy flows, like that whole saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And people, a lot of people will think that's BS. But then you can point out certain circumstances in their life to them, not to shame them or, like, I'm right, you're wrong. But then they start realizing, and their brain, like, it switches. They're like, oh yeah, I was thinking about snow the other day. I had to put salt on the deck today. Thank God I only got 5 days left. I'm done.
Yeah, for those who don't know, John is actually realizing one of his own dreams. He manifested this himself by, oh man, it was how long ago you've been saying you want to move to Vegas?
Well, it's been 5 years, but the 2 years, well, 2.5 years that I've been with the company and learning about this knowledge. So I've been planning on. I've lived in Vegas. I didn't make it out there because I didn't have the mindset to make it. I was just kind of going through the motions and didn't have a plan. Well, now I have the means and all that to actually have the the mindset, and I manifested. I mean, just moving to exactly where I wanted to move, and it was crazy because I called out there, and they didn't have any places to stay. Well, then exactly 1 week later, because I just kept saying I am going to move into this neighborhood, and they called me back and they said one opened up. It's massive because I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, you've were able to manifest something positive in your life and not something that is easy to come by. It's not easy to just continuously think about one thing over and over and over again in order to make it a reality in your life. But if you can master that, you can have anything you want in the world.
Yeah.
So what about the negative side of things? What about the people that are just, they're going through their life and they're just brick wall? Okay, well, let's try another way. Brick wall and all this stuff. Like, no matter what they try, it's almost like they fail and give up every single time. So how do we go about manifesting and trying to avoid the negative and just focus on the positive?
Well, focusing on the positive is going broad in your life. What I mean by going broad is focus on something that's easy to focus on that isn't a negative. Air conditioner, ceiling fan. When you're manifesting, you should be meditating, every morning or every afternoon. Just quiet your mind. Don't think of it like kumbaya. People think meditation is kind of like, they have a image of it of sitting on a pillow and feet up and all that. All meditation is quieting your mind and focusing on anything that's good in your life. And the more you do that, the more it becomes a habit to actually focus on the positive end of the stick. I don't have a stick next to me. I usually do. I'll use a pen. So there's the negative side and the positive. If you can ride here, because I know day-to-day life, like I could be like, yeah, it's snowing out. I hate the cold. But then I shift it just to that positive side a little bit. I'm out of here in 5 days. I won't have to snow ever again if I don't want to. That's my choice. But you have to always just lean towards that side. Don't beat yourself up for having negative thoughts, because without the negative, you don't know what the positive is, because there's two sides to every coin. So if you didn't have a negative thought, you wouldn't know what a positive thought felt like.
That's right. And it's like, there's that old saying, you can't see the light until you're in the dark, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's always, if you know what you don't want, well, then you can flip it and focus on what you do want. And that's where your actions come in.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
people that just want to, get the Lamborghini without any action. Well, that's not going to happen. I mean, unless if you're, well, even buying a scratch off ticket or anything, that is an action. It's not something that you just drops into your lap. It's never going to happen.
I can't just sit here and think positively. Like, you got your pen and I'm like, okay, positive is this end. I'm going to say Lambo, 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 Lambo every single day. And all of a sudden, poof, it's not going to just end up in your driveway. It's not
No.
that's the disconnect that I think most people have is they think, oh, okay, well, I'll create a vision board and all of a sudden it's going to poof, magically pop into my driveway. Well, that's not how it works, because there is an action that is required with that as well. So as we go about our day to day, there's always going to be that negative distraction that keeps us away from those positive thoughts. So what can someone do when they find themselves in that negative headspace? Is it best to just get right into a meditation and start thinking positive, or is there little tidbits, little pro tips, if you will?
No, there's always like when I get into a negative headspace, and I do. Everybody does. It doesn't matter. You know, I can be walking all out of the house, and man, it's slippery out, and then I almost fell, so now I'm ticked.
Yeah.
Well, it's focus on the other thing. Be like, well, I have salt inside my house. I'll just go get that, and then so nobody else falls, because it is scary to fall on ice. But
Yeah, and embarrassing.
yeah. And we're not getting any younger. So just focusing on little things in life. Don't ever, people think it has to be this extravagant thing that you have to focus on. Be like, I'm happy and grateful for the bracelets on my wrist. I'm happy and grateful for the shoes on my feet. Think of just the smallest things. And what that happens is it's going to be a trend in your brain. And all of a sudden you're like, that bird was cute, laughing at a dog on the side of the road, acting like dogs do. And all of a sudden you start focusing and start noticing that more than the negativity in your life, like the stupid red light that is taking 35 seconds longer than it should be in your mind, and the person in front of you that you just want to lay on the horn, like Kellen, But, yeah, once you start focusing on just the small baby step, and this happens over time, like say 3-4 months, you're doing that daily, all of a sudden you just start, it almost feels like you're just happier day to day, because you are focusing constantly on what is going good versus what's going the other way of the stick.
Yeah, the other side of the stick. Yeah, no, I love that. And for those who don't know who Kellen is, because John mentioned Kellen there, he's one of our mentors with our online business, and he's an amazing guy. He tells it like it is. And that's what we both love about him so much. So now we've got positive thought, negative thought. We want to live here. But how do we fight that fear of like a disbelief that it's not going to happen? How do we combat that?
Well, that just takes time. What happens, like myself, when I started looking into all this information and actually like putting it to use, well, you have to be 100% like, I believe this is going to happen, because without me knowing it, I'm making it happen. So like, it's almost like fear of failure. Like, you just can't put yourself in that category and succeed. If you think you can, you're going to. If you think you can't, you're not going to. And that comes with discipline and training yourself to do it. Just like I said before, it is very like baby steps. Mm-hmm. This isn't something that happens overnight. I mean, there's people that start YouTube channels that are overnight success, but that's, I'd say 0.00001% of people that just come into it. Yeah, it's baby steps the entire way. It's just like anything. If you see a young child trying to walk for the first time and that kid falls over, you're not going to tell the kid, get up, you little dummy. It's not going to happen. You just know that he's going to keep trying, or she or he or whatever is going to keep trying until they get their balance. That's the same thing with everything in life, including manifestation, including us coming into who we actually are. That's where fear and doubt comes from, is from not knowing who we actually are.
Yeah, that's profound, man. And I know that's probably a deep topic for a lot of people to actually fully be aware of who they are and where
Yeah.
they fit into this giant world that we live in.
Yeah.
That's you could create a whole course about learning just that. When it's almost like when you go to the gym, right? You
Yeah.
go to the gym, you're gonna go there for the first time. It's gonna feel awkward. It's gonna feel like, it's difficult, it's scary, you don't know what you're doing, but you go
Yeah.
the first day. Are you going to have results day one? Hell no. You're not going to have results day one. Are you going to have results if you go every single day for a week? Maybe. But it's something that if you do it enough with consistency, you will see the results. I just want to touch on a little story of mine that I was able to manifest myself. I know John knows this story. I've told this story quite a bit. When I first started in the online space, I met Mark Wilson just through Messenger. That's the other guy in our podcast, the guy with the big long beard, the Viking. Um, I don't know what it was about him, but I said day one, I bet you anything. And I said this to my wife. I said, I bet you anything. Not only will I find success with this, but me and Mark are gonna become friends. And I was like, I don't know how, but his family will be over at our house for dinner. I don't know. I just said that that's what was gonna happen, and through my actions, well, over like we've been friends for over a year now, like close friends. Our families just went to the pumpkin patch together on the weekend to get pumpkins for our kids, and our boys are the same age. They're going to each other's birthday parties, doing sleepovers and stuff like that. So that is a way that you can actually manifest what you want in your life, whether it's a new friend or a new place you want to live. It's doable. And as long as you, like John said, when you get in those moments, those negative headspaces, if you can flip the switch and say, oh, I slipped on this ice, but hey, at least I didn't fall and break my elbow. And now
Yeah.
you're happy with that. And you're like, how can I fix this so that nobody else does the same thing? And you go inside, you get the ice, you sprinkle it down, not the ice, sorry, the salt. Don't put ice on ice.
It might work though. I don't know.
I don't know. So any last little nuggets you want to give to people here?
As much as we have 70,000 thoughts in a day. It's hard to sift through all those. Just be aware of what you're thinking. And the more positive you can put, into your life, positivity, I should say, just focus on that and just make sure you're writing your goals down. Anything you want to manifest, make sure you write them down. Put it in the physical form, write it just on a notebook, whatever. And if you're truly passionate about it, you shouldn't have to really force yourself to think about it. It's like a new girlfriend or boyfriend. It's like a projection right in front of you all the time because you're thinking about that person. That's why we exist. We should be passionate towards something in life. And if you're not, well, try to find something that you are passionate about.
Yeah.
And realize you can make money doing anything in this world. I mean, anything.
Like, feet pics. Like there's girls making millions of dollars selling pictures of their feet. I don't recommend it, but
yeah.
Hey, not for me anyway. I got disgusting feet.
Yeah.
But
but you never know. That's a negative thought because somebody
Hey,
might like the feet.
There you go.
I
Flip
don't
the
know.
script.
Don't do that though, because your wife's gonna shoot you.
All right. Well, this has been a blast chatting with you, John. For more like this, just hit a like, hit a follow, subscribe to this because John's going to be bringing you nuggets like this all the time. So glad that you guys were able to make it. And as always, put something down in the comments because we're still got that giveaway going on. Once we hit 2,500 subscribers, we are going to be giving away a $100 gift card to a random person in the comments. So that's literally all you have to do. So if you want to manifest a $100 gift card, there is a little bit of action that it takes. Just needs a comment. Okay, guys, been a blast.
Awesome.
Take care of yourselves.
Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we would be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.